This is the Pittsburg State Coaches Show. Sponsored by Cowan Construction and Freeman Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Here are your hosts, PSU head football coach Brian Wright and KODE sports director Jake Stansell.
Welcome into the Pittsburg State Coaches Show. Game 1 of 5 is in the books as head coach of the Gorillas, Brian Wright, alongside me here. And Coach, I kind of want to clear the air a little bit because I remember last week, or I should say after the game, the first game, you mentioned, this loss against Nebraska Kearney, it's not on the quarterback, it's not on special teams, it's on you. But I want to clear the air saying I'll take the loss on that one because remember last week I said, I don't think Pitt State has ever lost to Nebraska Kearney, so I'll take the blame for this one, Coach. But I want to start though, how good did it feel to put the headset on for the first time as head coach of the Pitt State Gorillas?
That part of it felt great, just the opportunity to get out there again and certainly alongside our coaching staff and our football team to run out there on Kearney Smith Stadium Saturday afternoon felt great.
Awesome. And I want to get into the first half highlights now, and as we take a look at those, kind of run through just this first half of the highlights here against Nebraska Kearney. Here they are. And Coach, it was kind of windy out there because I remember literally the first kickoff of the game, the ball fell off the tee, kickoff, and the ref said, hey, let's bring it back and re-kick again. But the first half was interesting, and you look at the stats here, Nebraska Kearney really seemed like they had their way on the ground, rushing over 200 yards. What was kind of your perspective on that first half as far as the run game went?
Well, we knew it was going to be a challenge. They had a special quarterback back there, and their running back had a great day as well. And they got us here on a few of these perimeter run plays that we didn't fit up too well defensively, and got some of that resolved in the second half and did a much better job at that point.
So I know they missed their field goal attempt right there, so you guys get the ball right back, and literally on 4 plays, and especially this play right here to Christian Carter, he takes it, I think it was 61 yards and just shy of the touchdown right here. And was this the emergence of Christian Carter this game? He led the team in receiving. He had a great day.
Yeah, I think Gorilla Nation got to see what we've been seeing in preseason camp now for some time. He's really come along here these last few weeks.
And the guy who threw it to Christian Carter in that play, Max Sexton, what did you make of his performance here? And I know you kind of talked about that you expected all 3 quarterbacks to get a shot, to kind of get some live reps, but what you saw from Max Sexton seems like he was pretty comfortable in the pocket, and I think maybe at a certain point you're like, we got to try and win this game, so we got to get him, let him continue to roll out there.
Yeah, he is comfortable back there. He does have game experience from last year, and that's critical, and he managed the game well and made some really good throws and some good plays in the game. And we watched film again today, and he knows there's a few things he needed to do better.
And something I noticed about the first half, and really right here, there's a couple, I think it was maybe under a minute left before halftime, and instead of deciding to take a knee and just kind of regroup in the locker room, you said, hey, why don't we get another shot, get another play here, get another look, because who knows, right there, Tyler Atkins might have broke off and get to the end zone there.
Yeah, we tried to throw the ball downfield, and we had a holding penalty there that called it back, and kind of got stuck there on that last play, so we just decided to run it, but we're going to play aggressive throughout.
Another thing, too, was just seemed like it was more of an up-tempo style of offense. It seemed fresh. So you got these young receivers. How much was thought got into as far as the game plan went to get these playmakers involved earlier? We know we talked a lot about Jalen Martin last week. He got involved, especially in the second half. Christian Carter, we talked about Dylan White, another young wide receiver. How important was it to get the ball out of Max Sexton's hands and really trust your playmakers on this team?
Well, especially early on in the game, we wanted Mac to get comfortable and really get settled into the game. And I like to get all those playmakers a touch or two early on and get them into the flow of the game.
I like it, Coach, because it seems like you're bringing a style of air raid to the MIAA, and I think that's really fun to see. But I think you walk away from this game, and as we'll talk a little bit more in the second half, I think a lot of people in Pitt State Nation, they look at that first game, they think, this offense, it really had piqued your interest there. You're like, there's more we want to see with this offense. We know it wasn't the full offense that we will see later this season, but it showed a lot of promise, and that you have to walk away from that pretty excited.
Yeah, I am. And our guys are learning. We had a lot of young players, a lot of players that haven't played for us yet to this point, and so they're growing, learning, and gaining game experience, and that's why these games this season are so valuable.
How much would you attribute to what we saw, maybe more so in the first half, to maybe a little bit of rust or maybe not having a full spring season really get adjusted, really see live reps until this game right here?
It was the same for Kearney, so I think that it took us a little bit to get settled in, certainly after that first drive, but once we did that, I think we got settled in.
Another phase of this game in special teams, really wasn't much punting in this game at all. I know you guys only attempted 2 punts and really went for it on 4th down, despite maybe being 0-4 for 4th down attempts. But how important was it just to keep the rhythm of that offense flowing?
Yeah, I think that's important throughout the game. And, we had the 4th and 2 down in there going in. And when we have, that kind of opportunity inside the 10-yard line, it's 4th and 1 and 4th and 2. We're going to go for it. We're going to play aggressive and take a shot, when those opportunities present themselves.
Do you feel like now, seeing this game come and gone, do you feel like you found the answers that you're looking for, maybe on offense, on defense, but do you feel like you found a little bit more about the team that you were hoping to find out from this game?
Well, I knew our guys were going to come out there and play extremely hard. I knew they were excited to play. We got to do a better job at the little details and the discipline of doing your assignment. On all 3 phases of the game, we just didn't do that well enough to win the game. And that's what's so disappointing, because our guys have worked extremely hard, prepared hard, but when it comes down to it, you still have to execute, and we just didn't do that well enough against a good football team.
All right, well, when we come back, we're going to take a quick break, but we're going to go to the second half highlights when we come back. Stay with us. More from Coach on the other side. We're back here on the Pittsburg State Coaches Show. Head coach Brian Wright joined alongside me here in a recap from the first half. Halftime score from that one was 10-7. But let's go ahead and check out the second half highlights now from the game against Nebraska Kearney. So as I mentioned, 10-7 halftime score, and Coach, looking at the stats a little bit more on Kearney's side offensively, they didn't really throw the ball as much. I know TJ Davis 4 of 10, but when he did throw it, there was a couple big plays like right here. But when you're making those adjustments at halftime, how important was it to you in this defense to kind of force him to make throws, just considering how dominant he was on the ground in the first half?
Yeah, I think, we wanted to force him to throw the ball downfield and keep him in the pocket. And again, we struggled with that early on and came back out in the second half, did a better job.
But then you guys come right back and say, you know what, we'll match your big play, and a 70-yard pass to Dylan White, all open space for him right there, and gets into the end zone. And Coach, that's another young wide receiver that seems like he's going to have a bright, 5 games here this season.
Yeah, it really is. I'm excited. He battled a few injuries in our preseason camp. It was great to see him back out there.
Another name, too, we talked about a little bit in the first segment about Jalen Martin. Really got involved in the second half and was able to get a score here. What'd you make of his first game in a Pitt State uniform?
I was impressed with him. I knew he'd come out and play hard, and he's a physical guy, big target, and we got to continue to find ways to get him the football downfield.
Moving on a little bit more, I know DJ Davis accounted for Kearney's 4 touchdowns for them. But then Christian Carter a little bit later here, like I said, led the team in receiving and gets a nice touchdown right here to really make this a one-possession game. And Christian Carter, I had joked with Max Sexton after the game. I said, do you feel like you found your favorite target? And of course he jokes back and says, they're all my favorite targets. But Christian Carter, that's another young wide receiver that you have to be really excited about this season.
Yeah, we are. We're excited about all those guys, and we got a good young group. We need some more depth there, and we're excited. We'll be excited to get Bryce Murphy back into the mix as well.
So this is when things get interesting. You guys had that onside kick. I don't think you could have had that any better, but of course, everyone thinks, all right, Pitt State ball, then the refs come out and say, hold on a second, Nebraska Kearney called a timeout, and Coach, I know you're probably shaking your head at that one. You're like, man, I really wish you would have had that.
Yeah, that was, a great job by our onside kick team there, and Gentry made a great kick, and it was a good play by them, or a good coaching move by them on their side to get the timeout.
Then your defense stepped up when you needed them most to get the ball back into the hands of the offense. Fumble recovery right here, and then you think, all right, we got 1:46 left on the clock, a little 2-minute drill action here, and Max Sexton was really marching down the length of this field. He just had a couple nice throws, got you guys to the Kearney 21-yard line, and Coach, this is when you think this might be an exciting finish right here.
Yeah, I don't think there was any doubt in our mind or our players' mind that once we got that football back, that we were going to go down and score. And that's what was so disappointing about it, that we were given another opportunity and then just couldn't capitalize.
I was actually talking with Max Sexton after the game as well, just thinking to all the different looks that he had there. I know it was back with 4 incomplete passes right there, but do you feel like those were the right looks, the right plays to try to close out that game?
Yeah, we had Dylan White in the end zone that, we just put a ball just a little bit behind him and didn't make the play there. And we had Jalen on a corner route on the next play on the other side of the field that we couldn't get the ball to him. So we felt like we gave ourselves some opportunities there. And like I said, we just couldn't execute them.
All right, these are a couple of the final stats from the game individual stats. Max Sexton completed 25 of his 46 attempts for 398 yards and 3 scores. One went to Carter, who led the team in receiving. Dylan White also had a touchdown as well, 105 yards from him. And then Tyler Atkins on the ground, 15 carries, 71 yards for 1 touchdown. And then a couple more stats here for you. A total offense, Pitt State led with 530 total yards. But really, if you look at that number, you guys dominated as far as the air game, win passing, and then the rushing game, of course. Nebraska Kearney really ran the way with that one. But, you know, Pitt State 6 of 13 on third down attempts. And then Brandon Malikius, and we'll talk about him a little bit later, but just to kind of preface that right now, I know you mentioned that he's the quarterback of this defense. You know, you went from playing quarterback, now he's back in the defense. And, I mean, as you saw in that stat line, he was tied for 10 with 10 tackles that led the team.
Yeah, he had a tough assignment this week defensively, and he did a great job.
Also defensively, you look at Luke Jennings. What impressed you about some of these leaders, some of these players like Caden Roy that have been a while with this team, that what they did for this game?
Well, I was impressed with Caden. Caden did a good job with his assignment on defense, and when the ball came to his side, really forcing it back inside. And then Luke Jennings, a young linebacker for us, really played an excellent game.
You know, I look at this game, and when you guys were right there about to punch it in, close this game out, you know, that would have been that would have given Pitt State Nation one to remember for sure on that one. But, Coach, you look at just the flow of this game, and you look at the first half compared to the second half. I think the second half we saw a lot more from this offense, maybe what we can expect for more games to come. But you look back on what you saw from the offense, do you feel like there's a lot more left in the tank?
Oh, certainly. You know, like I said, you know, we made some good plays and we did some good things, but we left so many opportunities out there, and it's just execution, just some things that we've been practicing for the last 7 weeks. So that's what's frustrating about it, because we didn't go out there and execute as well as I thought we should have.
All right, we're going to talk about some positives when we come back. We're going to talk about some of the key players from this game, but we're going to take another quick break. We'll be back after this. We continue here on the Pittsburg State Coaches Show. And, Coach, let's talk some playmakers from this game against Nebraska Kearney. And starting from the top, you know, looking at Max Sexton and the performance that he had. And I know we had talked about a little bit earlier that you were expecting maybe to see all 3 quarterbacks at some point just get some live reps in this game. But Max Sexton, when he's dealing, he's connecting, and you're trying to win this game, he's definitely someone that you want to leave in the game and continue to trust in that pocket.
Yeah, sure. That can be a difficult thing at quarterback when you start rotating guys and you get a guy that's in rhythm and has a feel for the game. You know, you want to go with them out there, and you know, I think it took us a couple series to do that, and we had to protect him better early. You know, the play that we hit Dylan White on in the second half was one we tried in the first half and just didn't protect it well enough, and really still had Dylan downfield. But once we started protecting a little bit better for him and give him a little bit more time, I thought he did a good job.
When you're in a closing minute of that game, I should say, how much trust are you putting into Max Sexton to close this game out and give you guys a chance to win that game?
Well, you know, the quarterback has to make plays, certainly, to get us down the field, and you know, felt confident with him and felt confident with what we were doing and what we were trying to accomplish, you know, on the perimeter and downfield. And Mac understood what we were doing. We had practiced those situations, you know, these last few weeks, and really got into the game and got into some 2-minute situations more than most games.
Do you feel confident saying that he is your guy moving forward as far as the quarterback position is concerned?
Well, I think we'll continue to go with Mac and still, you know, want to get Chad and Matt Harmon in there as well, for sure, and we'll kind of play that week by week.
And I know we also kind of talked about a little bit earlier too that we didn't really see the full offense. I know we were missing a few starters in this game. But as far as giving a little bit of a taste for maybe what's to come with this offense, what more can we expect? Maybe are we going to see more throws being made, more on the ground? You know, what kind of style can we expect moving forward?
Well, we want to become more consistent offensively. You know, we had some explosive plays, but I don't think we were consistent enough, you know, with again, the run game and the pass protection and really still making some of the throws and catches downfield that we need to make to score enough points to win football games on a consistent basis. So we need to see a lot more consistency out of our offense.
How important is it? You know, we talk about these young wide receivers, talk about Jalen Martin, a transfer from Iowa State. How important is it to just really continue to find these guys on these Thursdays and help build their confidence moving forward with these?
Yeah, for sure. You know, like I said, we want to get the ball in their hands early and often, and feel confident that we have some playmakers downfield. You know, Tyler Atkins made a great catch in this game for us out of the backfield, and you know, speaking of him and Drew Wynn, I thought those guys really ran hard. I'm really impressed with how those two individuals played, and excited to get them going and get this running game going as well.
Was that the game plan kind of from the beginning that, hey, we're going to take some deep shots downfield?
Yeah, for sure. This game and every other game moving forward, we have to create some explosive plays. We have to be able to throw the ball downfield in order to be the balanced offense that we want to be.
Continuing with Brandon Malikas a little bit, I just think it's impressive. It's kind of cool to see him going from playing quarterback, coming back on the defensive side of the ball, ties the team for tackles. What does that say about him, just the type of competitor that Malikas is?
He's an outstanding competitor and a good football player, and you know, like I said last week, just very intelligent, knows the game, knows his job, and knows what the other 10 guys on defense are doing. And I think that's a big part of being a good defensive player, is knowing where your help is on defense. And just watching the film after this game and watching Brandon, execute his assignment, I was impressed with how he played.
And also just kind of extending on with these young wide receivers, do you feel like they've really emerged themselves as the playmakers that you can rely on moving forward?
Well, I think that, those guys, as well as any of the guys on offense, we still have a lot to prove. We still have a long ways to go, a lot of work to do. I'm excited about some of the things that we did, for sure, but we're nowhere near where we need to be to play at a consistent, level and to win the way we want to win here.
How fun is it, though, being a coach on the sidelines, when you see big plays like that from some of these younger players and just seeing these deep shots being taken? How fun is that as a coach to see them pull those off?
Well, that's fun with any position. I like to throw the ball down the field as much as anybody, and excited to see those receivers. But I just like to see guys work hard and have their hard work pay off on a Saturday afternoon, and that's fun to watch as a coach.
And to kind of put a bow on it, I mean, it seems like it has to be an encouraging step, just seeing what the offense was able to do, and more so in the second half, how explosive they came out to be. And even towards the end of the game, as we said, they had a chance right there to walk off and win that game. But that has to be encouraging moving forward into just a later part of the season now, to say, hey, we can hang with anybody. Yeah.
I was impressed with the fight in our team, the energy, and never giving up, never quitting. Our team played extremely hard, and I knew they would, and I knew our team would never give up, and it was good to see them go out there and fight and try to finish that one out. And that's what's, it's so tough to swallow that we just couldn't pull it out there at the end.
All right, well, we're going to take one last quick break, and then we're going to preview the Gorillas going on the road to Missouri Western. When we come back, stay with us. We're wrapping things up here on the Pittsburg State Coaches Show. And Coach, you guys are getting ready to take the first road trip of the season, Missouri Westerns. How does you and your team prepare to take this first road trip here next Saturday, or on Saturday, I should say?
Just like any other week, we got to have a great day of preparing, Monday through Friday. Just the only difference is once we step off the practice field on Friday, we'll be hopping on a bus and heading to a hotel.
I want to take a quick look at some of the details for this upcoming game at Missouri Western. Again, this game is in St. Joseph at Spratt Stadium. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. for that one. And Missouri Western got their season started this past Saturday as well. They lost to Central Arkansas 52-10 in their first game of the season. So, Coach, I know you were saying didn't really get a chance to watch much on them just yet, but they are pretty young at the quarterback position. I know they got a sophomore, and kind of what we saw against Nebraska Kearney, their quarterback for Kearney really liked to run the ball. And considering that the quarterback for Missouri Western is more so on the younger side, I mean, is that sort of the plan of attack to kind of force him to throw the ball and maybe force some mistakes?
Yeah, I think once we study him more, we'll put together a good plan and try to take away some of the things that he does well and try to force him to do some of the things maybe that he doesn't do as well. I know they're working in a new offensive line, graduated a bunch of really good players last year up front for them, but they're a well-coached football team as well, and been a really good team in this league. And we have our work cut out for us certainly this week to come back and make the corrections necessary to play a better ball game this Saturday.
What's it going to take in your mind to bounce back from the game against Kearney and get a win on the road? Well,
certainly correct the mistakes. But as I told the team, we have to continue to have the same energy and the same work ethic and the same, never say die attitude that we came out there with on Saturday, and build off of that and not be discouraged that we didn't get the outcome that we wanted on the scoreboard. But it wasn't from a lack of effort. It was just a lack of execution. and really doing our jobs in all 3 phases. So we have to fix those things, and we got to fix them quickly.
What are just kind of wrapping up this preview for Missouri Western? Maybe what are your early thoughts about facing the Griffins and more so taking your first road trip of the season?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get on the road with our team and go through that process. You know, the night before the game when you're on the road, and it'll be a 3 o'clock kick, so you know, a little bit later game. So we'll have a few different things that we do that day before the game, and so just being able to do these types of things with our young football team is a great opportunity for us and a learning experience, and one that I'm so excited about, to be able to get our young guys and our young team out there and working through all these these different situations, whether it's a home game or a road game.
Going back to the game, this most recent home game, and talked with Caden Roy after the game, he was saying that he didn't really notice the crowd as much when he got into the game, but just through your perspective, did it have a factor, not have a factor, or did you really not notice it as much either?
Well, no, I did notice it, and I was really impressed with it. When we're at 20 to 25% capacity, and to still have the crowd that we did, and have the crowd noise that we had, and the energy and the band there. We were one of 6 teams at our level playing this past Saturday, and just so honored to be a part of this university and this program that was able to put all these things together, and all the hard work that was done behind the scenes to really make this season a go.
How did it feel when you ran onto the field for the first time and you heard "Welcome to the Jungle" blaring? And did you get goosebumps?
I did. I was more worried about Caden and Morgan, all those guys running me over on the way out of the tunnel. So I just told those guys right before we ran out, don't embarrass me and run me over.
Well, 4 games left on the season, in this abbreviated season. Do you feel like you found out more? I know we talked about what you think you found out about your team from this first game, but heading into after week 1 into week 2 now, do you feel like your team has learned a little bit more from this week 1, what to expect from this abbreviated season, and try to bounce back and get this win here?
Well, if we're going to become a great football team and get this program where we all want it to be, we have to learn these lessons from this past weekend. And we call Sunday Tell the True Sunday, because we come back and we watch the film, and we have to be honest with ourselves and honest with how we played and what we have to do to get better.
What do you think has probably stood out the most from one of those meetings that the players tell you? Do you feel like they learn a lot from that? You're like, you know what, we want to go out tomorrow. We want to go out the next day. We're ready to roll, play another game right now.
I think they're ready to get back at it. We had a very disappointed locker room. Some guys that were really, really down. Our staff, and still recovering from that one. But we don't have time to waste on that one anymore. We got to get ready for a good Missouri Western football team. But we had a very disappointed locker room because we had worked so hard and had gone through so much for this opportunity to come out on the short end is certainly not the outcome we were looking for.
Well, Coach, we're on to week 2 against Missouri Western. Thanks again, as always, for the time, and we'll see you again next week. That's going to do it for us. Good night, everyone.
This has been the Pittsburg State Coaches Show, sponsored by Cowan Construction and Freeman Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.